Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground. I'm your host, Phil. We are the signal without the slop. Happy Friday. Well, maybe some people aren't too happy. Bitcoin's dead, right? Below 100K. We're all crying. But don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to fix that. Anyways, let's take a look at some of the stories we are going to be talking about today. For the Hopium, Bitcoin sentiment reaches 2022 lows. We're going to take a look at a chart that tells us maybe it's the bottom. We don't know. Anyways, we've also got some solid hopium about Lightning. I know that for whatever reason, some people choose not to learn about Lightning and like to pretend that it's not Bitcoin, but it is. It is. It's just a multi-sig. Anyways, yeah, we're going to take a look at some info about Lightning and, of course, the Czech National Bank, right? That positive comments about Bitcoin. Obviously, we're going to dive into the details about that story. Also, for the fail, we've got a whole lot of fun, some FOMO FUD, which I actually meant to talk about yesterday, and I didn't. But you know what? It turns out, serendipitously, that today it turns out it's an even better day to talk about it. Job's daughter buying Bitcoin. Yeah, we're going to tell you the truth about that garbage. Square. Yeah, Square, huh? We're all excited about Square, but unfortunately, we're seeing some cracks in the armor. And of course, we've got some Eternal Paper Bitcoin, some updates there, and we've got some cool stuff coming out of Seedsigner and Bullbitcoin. We are going to take a look at that. You guys know the deal. Before we dive into all that good stuff, I'm going to give a shout out to the Pleb Underground sponsor. We're going to be right back. Let's frickin' go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Okay, so this post comes from Joe Consorti. Actually been on the show. We had him on, I believe, the first year that we started Pleb Underground. So Bitcoin sentiment is as bad as it was at the 2022 low. And let's just go see where we are right now. 96,900 and change. Sentiment's really as bad as it was when we were at 15K? Interesting. I wonder who was actually polled for this. Like, how long have those people been hodling? I wonder. Anyways, nowhere to go but up. Oh god, it's freaking brutal. Okay, let's take a look at the let's talk about some Lightning stuff, right? This is a post from Jesse Schrader. We've had him on the show before. He runs Amboss. The average channel size on the Lightning Network has gone absolutely vertical, indicates a higher level of conviction in channel connections, enabling larger payments between peers. So far, this shift isn't coming from @Block's node, despite its huge product rollout, right? And he's talking about Square, right? So, Square rolling out Bitcoin payments. You'd think you'd see an uptick coming from them, but it's actually not coming from them. It apparently just coming from regular hodlers. But take a look at that. I don't know if people really realize that, but look, the average channel size, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's 10.8 million sats. So that's pretty crazy. And I think that a lot of people, even myself, I wasn't aware of this because the last time I had really messed with Lightning was probably 5 years ago, when I first started to set up nodes. But apparently now, because of I think it's Wumbo channels, you can actually have more than more than one Bitcoin in a channel. So, to the people, to the haters, I get it, right? It's not a silver bullet. I don't think it's a silver bullet. I don't claim that Lightning is a silver bullet. However, I do recognize that it takes multiple solutions sometimes, right? Like that's how layering works. So, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, right? I don't need Lightning to be the silver bullet, right? I don't need there to be this one thing on Bitcoin that solves all of these other use cases. I don't care about that. I just care about Bitcoin. I care about Bitcoin and its qualities. That's it. The rest of this stuff, it can be layered. There can be trade-offs. There can be centralization on those layers. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Anyways. Okay, moving on. We got a little more Hopium here. Let's here. You know what? Let's take a look at some Saylor comments, right? Everybody always loves the Saylor Hopium. Let's do that right now. Saylor made some comments. This was actually yesterday at an event that he was attending, and he made some pretty solid comments here about Bitcoin versus gold. Let's check it out.
Do you see Bitcoin catching up to and surpassing gold's market cap by 2035? What say you?
I do. I think we're in a Bitcoin. We're in the digital gold rush, and 2035 is the 0.99 year. That means that 99% of all the Bitcoin will have been mined in the year 2035. If you want Bitcoin, you need to get it between now and then, because the last 1% of Bitcoin comes out over 100 years. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind Bitcoin will be a larger asset class than gold by the year 2035.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a Bitcoiner, so I'm gonna agree with that. But besides just that, right? Essentially, gold has, as we know, as Bitcoiners already know, gold has already failed, right? Like it's not difficult to see that. It's not easy to transport. It can be faked. You can go and make gold currency, and then you can reduce the amount of gold in that currency, right? When you're producing coinage, right? Called coin clipping, all of that stuff. Like, look, we already know that. So this idea that that's going to happen, it's just some feel-good stuff for a Friday that's scaring the crap out of people. So enjoy. Anyways, moving on. Let's go take a look at what's going on at the Czech National Bank, huh? Czech National Bank, right? We saw this news. Czech National Bank just purchased 1 million worth of Bitcoin and crypto for the first time in its history. Europe is coming. Okay. So let's just actually be clear about it. Okay. They're creating a $1 million test portfolio to study the operational and regulatory implications of blockchain-based investments. I know it sounds terrible, right? So you notice what they're talking about there? They're not saying Bitcoin. They're saying blockchain-based investments. We got to pay attention to that. Remember, to the banks, guys, to the banks, the nation states, you gotta get it out of your head. They don't give a shit about Bitcoin. They don't care about it. It's about stable coins. Now, if they have to hoist Bitcoin up on their shoulders, right? If the politicians have to sit there and show you the Bitcoin logo and make you feel special so that you'll applaud and nod, then they will. It's all stable coins, guys. I'm sorry, right? The purchase was made outside its international reserves because it's not a part of its reserves. The test portfolio includes Bitcoin, an unnamed US dollar stable coin, and a tokenized deposit. Okay, the purpose is to gain hands-on experience with digital assets and related processes. So look, would I like to believe that the Czech Republic is going to hold some Bitcoin? Sure. Is it going to come from seized funds? Maybe. Part of it's going to come from, from seized funds. Do I think that this is much more about learning the ins and outs of stable coins and how to bring it into their banking system? Yes. Yes, I do. That's actually exactly what I think it's about. Now, obviously, this process ends up leading down the road to more digital assets. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? So, but to the people that are, if you're thinking that this is going to be like a turn, like from one day to the next, all of a sudden the Czech National Bank is going to, no, this is just an experiment. After this, okay, what they do is they put together a full report, right? And then they go and they analyze that report. And then they do learned lessons from a report like that. And then they do follow-up steps from a report like that. So who knows? 1 to 5 years, something like that. I'd like to say less than 5 years, maybe 1 to 3 years. Anyways, either way, the point is that in my eyes, yes, I appreciate that they purchased some Bitcoin for a test. However, I understand that this is not, it's not as big as it's being made to seem. That's all. Anyways, this is a step in the right direction, but this ain't it. All right, let's keep going. Let's dive into the fail FOMO stuff. Damn. This did not age well. This did not age well for Bitcoin Magazine. Just in, Bitcoin supply on exchanges has fallen to a new low. Yeah, well, today's Bitcoin action begs to differ. It begs to differ. I love Sandy's response, right? You're missing 1.1. Don't worry, Sandy. It doesn't even matter that they were missing that. Bitcoin did what it does. But yeah, guys, that FUD about Bitcoin on exchanges. I mean, we just see this shit over and over again. I sometimes think that some of these media outlets think that we're Alzheimer's patients or something, and we just have no idea what's going on all the time. There's always about 2 to 3 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Okay. And I know this sounds crazy, but as the Bitcoin fiat exchange rate goes up, right? As the price goes up, you'd be amazed to find that there's going to be people, sounds nuts, people who are going to want to sell their Bitcoin in order to use their fiat that they've generated from their Bitcoin. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but people are doing that, so I don't know why. It's like you have like over 1 million people that follow, there's biggest Bitcoin conference, and you just spread crap. It's not all crap, right? It's like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, come on, like this is not what people need to see. Like, this is the kind of crap for a noob that's going to get wrecked from believing this stuff. And of course, right, everybody, personal responsibility, all that good stuff. But you know what? Doesn't the media outlet have their own responsibility? Apparently not, right? Apparently their responsibility is just to pump the numbers. Doesn't matter who gets wrecked. Doesn't matter the expense. Just fucking pump the number. Anyways, all right. Next fail. Next embarrassing fail. So this one, I don't know whose account this is, but this thing got like 5.4 thousand likes. Okay. From this crappy shitcoin account. Steve Jobs' daughter Eve just bought $150 million worth of Bitcoin today, which it's not even possible. Besides this claim, right? Like it actually shows you, her estimated net worth is about $1 million. So already she couldn't possibly do that. But a quick search shows you that there's obviously absolutely no source whatsoever. So just every time you hear about famous people buying Bitcoin, just be wary. Like, yes, some wealthy and famous people are buying Bitcoin, but it's worth it to check because there is just so much FUD right now. There is just so much fake news, so much recycled news. A lot of times I want to show like some really positive development or something like that, and then I'll go and just check to see, okay, when did this air? And it's like 2024, 2023, like 8 months ago. It's like, this is not relevant. Anyways, yeah, it just kind of sucks. So yeah, I try to keep up to date, and I try to show the stuff that's relevant, that's actually happening now, rather than shit that's from like 6 months ago or something. All right, next up on the fail, we've got. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one, right? So this is at Bitcoin Amsterdam. This is the CEO of a Bitcoin treasury company. Now, you're just going to have to follow the trail here, okay? So he's the CEO of Bitcoin treasury company. The Bitcoin treasury company is backed by the Winklevi twins. The Winklevi twins have been shilling Ztrash. For the people who don't know what that is, it's ZEC or Zcash. Okay, so just here we go. Pay attention.
Where Bitcoin is a hedge against fiat, in a way, Zcash is a hedge against Bitcoin, and certainly the privacy element of it. And again, like anything we were saying before, if you're a core Bitcoin hodler, you have your own stack. If you want a bit of...
This is what happens, right? Like, and again, we're all susceptible to this type of stuff as human beings. This guy has no choice but to say this shit, okay? He has no choice whatsoever. The people that give him his paycheck, they're shilling this crap. So he's not going to go against them. He's not going to sit there and tell the truth. He's just going to tout the line, grind out the frickin' check.
amplify Bitcoin, you buy a bit of any of the treasury companies, and if you feel privacy is an important issue to you, then Zcash is another one, and it's easy access.
Alex?
Well, I will have quite a different view.
Yes.
I think that all other crypto assets have zero reason to exist, except for one. If you still have some, you can buy Bitcoin with it.
If you still have some, you can buy. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Okay, so Zcash. I mean, I never really talked about it because who cares? But look, guys, it was a token that was created by I forget his first name, but his last name is Zuko, and he has it is a token that is created by a company called the Electric Coin Company. There was a pre-mine, founders rewards, there's dev rewards. It's the typical shitcoin crap. It is a corporation, okay? It is not the same thing as Bitcoin, okay? There is no, it's not actually decentralized. So it's the same thing as every other shitcoin, guys. That's all it is. And I get it, right? It's pumping and all that stuff, and people are getting excited. I remember when the privacy narrative was huge 2 cycles ago, okay, or 3 cycles ago at this point. There was Verge and PivX, and there was Zcash back then. It was a whole bunch of stuff, and of course Monero, right? Everybody was all excited. The privacy narrative, right? It was the future of Bitcoin. It was Bitcoin, but private, and it all trended to 0 against Bitcoin. Okay. It all trended to 0 against Bitcoin. No, it doesn't matter. I just, it's amazing though, right? Like that, it's the power of a paycheck, right? Like that guy's going to go stand in front of a Bitcoiner conference and talk about Zcash, talk about this pre-mined corporate owned crap like it matters. Hats off to him. Way to go, dude. You really ground out that paycheck. Hats off to you. Very curious. Which Bitcoin treasury company is he the CEO of? Let's go see this. Founder and CEO of Treasury_BTC. That's very original. Very original, the Treasury_BTC. Oh, yeah, that's right. Emerging Euro-dominated Bitcoin treasury backed by Tyler and Cameron. Yeah, that's right. So that's pretty crazy, right? They're shilling Zcash. This guy comes on the stage and shills it for them. It's all coincidences, guys. This is organic. This is just organic. Anyways, all right, moving on. Let's take a look at some eternal paper Bitcoin. Let's do it. Eternal paper Bitcoin. Boom. Georgia Private Research Institute, Emory University has increased its Bitcoin exposure via Grayscale investments. I didn't realize that Grayscale was still selling shares. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, more paper Bitcoin. We are not surprised. Not surprised by the paper Bitcoin at all. And in case you didn't see this little darling, Vanguard Group just disclosed they bought 6 million shares of Bitcoin treasury company Naka. So I had to do a little bit of digging into this one because this was when they disclosed it, right? So they disclosed it a couple of days ago. It pretty much means that they paid anywhere from like 78 cents to like maybe 86 cents per share. I'm just going on the timeline. So figure they gave Naka about $5 million, right, for those shares. Because I did see a lot of people like, oh my God, this is huge, Vanguard, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. They manage $11 trillion. Do you know what $5 million is to a company that manages $11 trillion? It's a drop in the bucket. They can afford to lose it. And hey, if it goes up, great. The other point of it is businesses pretty much have an endless time horizon, right? Their time horizon is as long as the business can last. But human beings, we kind of have a more predictable expiry date, right? So the reason why I'm explaining this is because oftentimes I've seen people, and I've made this mistake myself as well, especially when I was much younger. I would look at what incredibly successful, wealthy people were buying in terms of equities, and I would mimic them. Or in some cases, I would mimic the business, right? I'd see a a business that is doing well and they were, let's say, investing in a publicly traded company, I would follow them into it. One of my favorite examples is when I followed Berkshire Hathaway into purchasing Oakwood Homes. That was one of the biggest mistakes of my life because I did not understand what I was doing. So the reason why I'm explaining this is Vanguard can spend, they can wait, right? They can sit there and wait. If they have to wait 15, 20 years, make a difference. The business doesn't have a shelf life. But you and me as individuals, we do. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, look, if you're buying these companies, right, they're stonks because you're following big investment houses that are doing the same, right? And they're your signal. Just be weary, right? They might have a different timeline than you. Okay. That variation could be huge. Just putting that out there for you. All right, let's take a look at. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at some. Oh, wait, last fail, guys. Square. This is actually a post from Predator, and I don't know who did the actual original video, but either way, let's take a look at this transaction. So yesterday I showed a transaction or the day before about people being all excited about Square, and then I explained about the fees. So let's take a look at this little video here. It has no sound, but you can see, right? Yeah. Solana. I mean, look, anybody who was, kind of placing their bets on Square, not eventually doing this, guys, these are businesses. These businesses' number one objective is to make profit, right? And they are going to make the most amount of profit from network effects and volume and providing what customers deem to be a valuable service. So don't be surprised, right? And this is why in Bitcoin, right, the old meme, right? Destroy your heroes, metaphorically, of course. But like, this is the problem, because almost every single, and I think I said this a few years ago, it's like every single Bitcoiner that the people put up on their shoulders as net positive, they all seem to be turds. I mean, every single one of them, it's always just, I love Bitcoin and now buy this service, so a little bit disappointing, right? It's a little bit disappointing. Anyways, let's keep going here. We've got a whole lot more. No, I'm kidding. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit more. All right, so first things first. All right, let's go take a look at this. Bullbitcoin. I don't actually endorse any exchanges. Well, that's hypocritical because this is the only exchange and they don't sponsor me. They don't have business in the US. So I wouldn't even reach out to them, because what am I actually going to offer them? But I have actually used Bullbitcoin. As some of you know, I am originally from Montreal, and yeah, I had to find a way to move some money back and forth between the US and Canada, because guess which banking system's a piece of crap? Both of them. So yeah, Bitcoin specifically is what helped me, and Bullbitcoin is the platform that facilitated it for me. So yeah, I like these guys. And believe me, that doesn't come easily for me, because I don't endorse any exchanges. Bull Wallet now supports Seedsigner, the open source, stateless, and air-gapped do-it-yourself Bitcoin signing device. Connect instantly via QR codes, stack sats directly to your hardware wallet, and spend securely using partially signed Bitcoin transactions. 100% self-custody and open standards. Let's freaking go. And here, they've got a nice little video that we are also going to take a look at. Hyper stuff. That's Seedsigner. Bullbitcoin did that for Seedsigner. That's They wanted to make it, you know, they wanted to make it nice. They wanted to contribute. And it's just like, to me, like, this is what I like to see, right? When you're actually about growing the space, and not just your own self-interest, like, I'm sorry to say this, like we see that is painfully obvious from NVK, and his cold card. Yeah, you know, like, this is to me, this is the real win, right? Seedsigner, just low key. I've had him on the show a few times, and for whatever reason, you know, the people that used to tout to me about Signal and, you know, don't trust, verify, it's pretty disappointing, because those are people that are running, you know, organizations like OpenSats and stuff like that, and they're not donating to projects like Seedsigner, right? And Seedsigner is an open source project that anybody can contribute to, and not only that, but you can build. You don't have to buy any of the product from Seedsigner. You could just buy it all yourself. So imagine being an organization like OpenSats, where that's your job, right? This is what you do. And yet you're not providing any funding to one of the very few truly open source signing devices. Anyways, don't worry, Seed. You've got our support, and you've got Bullbitcoin support. So there you go, and a whole lot of other plebs, right? There's a whole bunch of plebs that all absolutely love what Seedsigner is doing, and we stand behind him. Anyways, guys, it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it for today's episode, right? Happy Friday. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome weekend, and, you know, be safe. Don't pay too much attention to the Bitcoin price, because it's just gonna make you sad. Okay, it's gonna do what it does. For now, I'm still not feeling panicked. Just don't let the FUD get to you guys, okay? Yeah, exactly. Right, Salty Crayon? It's a great piece of hardware. You can build it yourself, you know? Yep. We're still live. I'm actually just about to end it. Just about to end it, Bitcoin Blitz. Yeah, I know, man. Trust me, I ran out of fiat years ago. At this point, I'm scrounging for it, but it doesn't matter, because every time I get it, I still stack. I've never stopped stacking, and I don't believe that I will. Anyways, you guys have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you all Monday. Now, look, I'm probably going to spoil it, but it doesn't matter. I told you guys that we were supposed to have Lawrence Lepard come and join us, talk about the big print. You're supposed to do that 2 weeks ago. We had some issues, and had to reschedule. Supposedly, right, we do have the confirmation he's going to be joining us next Friday. Okay, Friday, November 21st. So as of right now, tentatively, Ulrich and I have once again secured Lawrence Lepard to join us next Friday. We'll see if that happens, but either way, no, it's all good. ABW, we're just I'm just closing out, but either way, it's all good. Like I said, guys, have a great weekend, and I will catch you all next week. Take it easy. Peace.